that. And welcome back, everybody. We are so excited to be here. Man,
Wow. Incredible.
incredible. For what?
Number 8, man. Ovi, the great 8.
That's why we started at 8 o'clock, because we knew he was going to break the record.
Yeah. Right? Planned this all from the beginning. This was their whole plan.
Yeah, Ovi's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into that for sure. We Before we get too far going,
Yeah.
I do want to say we have a bracket. I don't know, league, whatever. It's called Go to Goons. It's in the description. Um, right now, passwords there. Capital C for Cody, capital R for Ryan, all one word. Um, join us on that bracket when that comes out. I think it comes out in 9 days.
Yeah.
Join it. We'll give a prize out to the winner of that. It won't be until summertime, of course.
Yeah.
But we will. We hope to see a lot of you guys join with us in that journey of the playoffs. And again, I'm not sure what it'll be quite yet, but it won't be too crappy, I hope.
No.
If anything, it'll be a cash prize or
yeah. They'll get something
like
nice. Something nice.
But you'll get the jersey. No, I'm just
yeah, no. Absolutely not.
You'll get the signed jersey. So yeah, again, that's in the link below. Go to Goons tournament, and
yeah, can come compete against us. See who has
Yeah.
a better bracket.
yeah,
See if you guys know hockey more than us.
yeah, if you get lucky, congrats.
I
But
know, and yeah, you gotta wait until what 9 days, like you said.
9
'cause
days,
Even
yeah.
now, like it's you would not be able. You don't know. You don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah. But yeah, other than that, South Dakota, 18U guys didn't make it as far as they wanted to this last weekend. I was ready to watch them. 16U, they did good. I was actually surprised on how many kids on that 16U team play varsity already.
Yeah,
So that's really cool to see.
it is.
But they also lost in the semifinals, and I believe Team South Dakota 16U were on a 3 or 4 peat run there, and so that 16U tournament finally has a new champion.
There's a new champion. Yeah.
So it is what it is. Kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
can't help. They tried. It was fun to watch. Came down. They just couldn't get the puck in the net. And again, I think it's tough to win like that just because you're not with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You're with a different team all year, and now you're, the guys on your team, but when it comes to a tournament where you maybe only had a few practices, it's tough, man. You can't just.
It's hard to build chemistry like that.
Like these other teams. It's not like it's Team California, it's Team New York, or whatever. It's a high school team that gets the honors to do it or whatever it is, but we're one that don't do that, and we put them together, and it just kind of sucks a little bit that they do that, but
but it also is nice, especially the fact that they have this was what, their 3-peat, 4-peat of winning it. So I'm like that the system that they have, I guess it works. It worked for that time being, but you never know, things can be changing.
Yeah, I think especially at 18U, I just feel like 18U they played really good games, but they are not. You could just tell they weren't really used to each other.
Yeah.
You'd want to see a little bit better passing and things like. But you're not used to those guys, and so you can kind of see some Aberdeen guys together, Sioux Falls guys together.
No, that's how they paired lines up.
So you can kind of see it that way, but still it's still tricky.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough for a coach trying to figure out lines, and he's probably that's probably why they just be like, all right, if you guys played together already, then that's more than likely what we're gonna go with.
That's what they did with Danielson and AP. They played pretty much all year with us together in Aberdeen. We switched it up towards the end, and then but other than that, they played pretty much all together, in which they know exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
When the other one does something else, but yeah. Other than that, Carter Sanderson, hopefully we'll get him on next week. I need to message him. His season's their regular season is going to end, and then the playoffs will start. So we'll kind of get a little grasp at that, and then just kind of how the process of North Dakota's new coach and everything like that. See what
what his thoughts are on that. The coaching change, if he's been in contact with the new coach or if anything like that.
Get a little inside scoop on that, hopefully. But
see how his first season went.
Yep.
USHL.
Yeah, not too bad.
Feels.
So we're excited. Yeah, so I'm pumped with that. We were hoping that we could have our Wild insider Brandon on tonight, but he was busy. So hopefully we can get him before the playoffs start. Even if I don't know if Wild don't make it, then we're.
Yeah, I guess some questions that need answering here, and they're gonna have if they end up getting pushed out by Calgary, there's gonna be a lot of talks in the offseason on the direction the Wild's gonna have to go. Yeah, and what's gonna be with Kaprizov.
Yeah, let's just start there. We'll start kind of bottom of the wild card is with Minnesota. Yeah, we know Kaprizov is gonna get the payday, but now it's gonna be how much of the payday, because the guys that you'd think could help him out are not helping him out when he's not there. So I don't know, who do they go after to the point of still being cap friendly?
Yeah, because I mean, it's obviously the big free agent over the offseason and been talks all year is Marner, and if he'll stay or if he'll go. And I'm sure I think that all depends on how Toronto does in the playoffs and how big of a run they make.
Yep.
And regardless of that, if if they could get Marner, does it change the Wild completely to where that we're not sitting here come next year this time of year, and it's the same scenario where you got Kaprizov hurt. If you put Marner in there, would he be able to elevate them to where they wouldn't fall this far, or they could have kept their third spot, or even let the first wild card spot and not lose it to St. Louis.
Yeah, who else is on the chopping block? Well, not on the chopping block, but on free agency is Ethers from the Jets.
No.
And it's sounding like he's going to probably test it out.
Yeah.
Even though
we could see that'd be interesting.
If, he might test that out. Unless, they win a Stanley Cup and they go far and he's like, frick, we're so close, he might stay. But sounds like he might test it out just to see what's out there.
Yeah.
And again, John Tavares, he's available.
Yeah. Well, he's got 37 goals this year.
Yeah.
He's got and with the age he's at and everything. I mean, I know you want to go young, you don't want to go old, but I think goal scoring is what you need.
Yeah.
Or offensive, just something offensive to help you.
So that's gonna be a big thing for the Wild. Is do they? Again, it's gonna be up to Toronto. But if Toronto didn't sign, I didn't know John was a free agent after this either. Everyone was talking about Mitch. So, Toronto's gonna be a little bit hurt too here. It looks like, but
especially at the center position.
Yeah,
that's a key center.
So with the Wild, if they don't make the playoffs, it's honestly a very bad season, just because they were up 2 spot, in the four nations. And I again said it, if Kirill gets hurt, he's not gonna. The Wild are nothing. And it's proven now, because now they
have fallen.
They're fallen to the last spot. Who expected the Blues to have a hot streak like they did? No one. No one saw it coming.
No.
But
not to this extent.
But they did, and now they're definitely gonna be in it, because they're just hot. They're gonna be in the playoffs. And because of that, Wild, I honestly think, just looking at this whole the whole wild card, it's gonna be the Wild or Calgary that are gonna make it to the playoffs. So
yeah, for the West, for that last wild card spot at least.
Hey, can you Hey, get that ball and get away.
You gave her the ball. I'm not going for my
pop. Hey. So.
And the exciting thing is these guys play Friday night.
Both of them.
These two teams play each other Friday night.
Minnesota needs to win. They both need to win.
They both have to.
If Calgary wants their place in the playoffs, they need to win that game.
Yeah, it's a must win, because I think if they don't, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's going to be done for.
Yeah.
If they don't get that win. At least they have the chance still, but it's a hard road.
Yeah, because they are 4 points behind.
Yes.
but they do have one less game played than Minnesota.
Yep. So if you take that into factor, they're at 89 points if they get that win and tied their games played with Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
They're still down, 3 right there. Or no, they're down. They're technically down 2. So they would at least need that Minnesota win to keep them down.
Mm-hmm.
But that Minnesota win could easily bump them up because I think they play.
So they
play tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they play San Jose. It's either San Jose or Anaheim.
They played one of them last night.
Yeah.
The Wild play the Sharks.
Yeah.
The Flames play the Ducks.
Okay, yeah. I think they switch. I just know that they each finish out like almost playing the same teams.
Yeah.
It's only
crazy.
Calgary plays Vegas their second last game, and they play the Kings their last game, which those are two tough matchups to end your season on. That when you absolutely need must wins. While vice versa, the Wild, their only hard game really is Vancouver, and that's over the weekend, I think.
Yeah. So right now it's looking like if Wild can buckle down and just get some wins, they'll end up being there.
Yep.
But again, the Flames you really can't count out because every day I'm looking, they get closer and closer, and they're just inching their way up.
They get a win when they need one.
Yeah. But again, it's going to be mostly up to Wolf and how hard he's going to battle.
Mm-hmm. Which, getting down to the end of the season, talking Calder, I mean, it looks like Lane's going to be the one that's going to win the Calder. But, I mean, man, I really think Wolf should be in talk. I mean, Wolf is in talks now, finally, as a top 3, right behind Celebrini. I mean, there's Mitchkov, too. But based on how, team performance, well, San Jose is definitely worse than Florida or Philadelphia. But I don't know. I just don't get how Wolf doesn't get any more conversation. Because, goaltending is such a hard job.
Yeah.
And it's a shot in the dark that you'll make it and you'll get a chance. Like, most goalies, when they get drafted, they don't get their NHL debut until how many years down the line?
Oh, I know, right? Yeah. No, that's a good thing with Calgary. Like, they have their goaltender.
2.
Now it's how can you build, they just don't have a superstar. They need they would be great to go after a John. I know he's older, but go get John. Go get, one of these top 5 guys to come play for them because that's going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, it's just it's a hard market. Not very many people, it's like, one of those cities that's doesn't have a lot of people flocking to. It's not a market that everybody wants to go to.
Yeah.
But it's not, and I'm not saying it's bad, or I'm not dissing them in any means. It's just, that's just how it is right there.
Yeah. So either way, whoever gets in, Minnesota or Calgary, they are done in the first round. It's just sorry. It's just the bottom line. Just because you guys are fighting for those last spots, I'm just telling you, there's no way you guys go first round. Even if the Wild somehow pass the Blues and get in that first wild card spot, they'll still end up losing in the first round.
Yeah.
The Blues, on the other hand, would be freaking crazy against the Jets. But
yeah, and I think I don't know. I
don't know how I'd play. I would honestly probably take the Blues in 7.
They play the Blues are playing the Jets. Is it tonight or tomorrow?
No, they lost last night 3-1.
Was it last night they played? Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. It was a good battle.
Yeah. With the streak, with that big of a streak going or anything, I mean, coming into the playoffs, that's great. You want to be playing that good of hockey.
Yeah.
That's the type of hockey you want to be playing.
Yeah, since 4 Nations, everything's clicked for them pretty much. So
yeah, the stars aligned.
Yeah, it's been crazy there.
Yeah, what would you say? No, okay. Let me pose a question since we're in the West. I mean, this goes for East and West, but what did you say would be for this year your most? Let's exclude Nashville. What's your most disappointing team this season that you've had? That I would say has a disappointing season.
Probably Seattle.
Do you think you're gonna go with Seattle?
Just in Western Conference?
No. Well, we'll go West. Yeah, but still, even West, Seattle. You wouldn't think Vancouver, having the season that they had last year and everything that's gone on, the drama and everything, what a disappointing season it is for Vancouver, and that could be one of the top teams Other
Yeah,
teams would be Nashville.
I think we had Vancouver being like top 3 this year.
Mhm.
Yes, but I honestly just like after Seattle, after going after a few players and how young they were and how good they were last year, I just thought, they're gonna be a decent team, and to be eliminated and only, not even being 500, it I think, yeah, it was more disappointing to see them. You don't hear the drama because they're more of a West Coast team. Same with Vancouver, but there's so much drama with Vancouver. But I think there's so much drama with even New York that they could even be a more disappointing team too.
Yeah, no, the Rangers for sure.
But
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah, I would still like after everything's came out with injuries and things for Vancouver, they really weren't that healthy. So it doesn't surprise me they're that low. And yeah, locker room stuff, but I don't know. For me, Seattle is kind of a shock to see them that low.
Yeah, I guess I could see it, but I think mine would be Vancouver, Chicago, or Nashville. Just well, Nashville is obviously small, but like Vancouver or Chicago, and Vancouver especially. Yeah, but like, yeah, well, the drama and everything. But like, you make your decision of getting rid of you choose EP40 over JT Miller,
Yeah.
and you get rid of JT Miller. Yeah, that does not solve the problem at all. And so like you really screw yourselves over because you just extended him last year, and when you extended him, EP went immediately down and just was just an absolute shell of himself. Granted, yeah, there was the injury there and all that stuff, but like it's just been so weird for them this whole season. While on the other side of the positive outlook of Vancouver is that you have an absolute star in Quinn Hughes, who you might waste away and you might not get anything out of him, and he'll walk
Yeah.
because of that's just the turmoil and just the I don't know all the crap that's been going on within that organization, and just how the disappointment of this season has gone from compared to last season when you're up there number one, ranked number one, or up there and
Yeah.
make playoffs, and then this happens.
Yeah.
It's just disappointing. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, I agree. Um.
And Besser too. You gotta look out for Besser. I know he's not a free agent, but remember with the trade talks and everything,
Yeah.
you could maybe see him on the move.
That is very true.
That's some offense. He hasn't produced much this season, but injuries again.
So yeah, I yeah, well, I think that, yeah, but yeah, let's go
Oh
back
yeah, and
up.
Seattle got rid of Bjorkstrand.
Yeah, no. Well, they
That
kind of had to at the trade deadline. They saw where they were headed. So, but um, but yeah, going up to the back up to the playoff picture, in the Western Conference Central, I don't see any changes there. Dallas and Colorado are gonna face off.
mm-hmm.
Winnipeg's just waiting on who's gonna barely make it in.
Mm.
More than likely, as of right now, we can say Vegas will probably play um, the Blues, and then LA and Edmonton more than likely will play. The Kings have locked in. Edmonton is still technically can still miss the playoffs. Um,
Just wild.
it is because technically the Flames, are tied in games played, but if Edmonton goes on a losing streak, Calgary could sweep right in and get it. Again, there's about 3 games there. So, but Edmonton would need to win, I think, their next 2 probably, and Calgary needs to lose 1
Yeah.
for that to be locked in.
Mm.
But either way, Edmonton, I understand you'll get McDavid and everybody back, but as far as I know, they're not going to be healthy. And I think Edmonton needs to start worrying about their playoff hopes this year.
Yeah. Especially with the injuries that they've been plagued with and how they've been playing with the guys said injuries. Because if I don't know, is Draisaitl, is he? Because I know he came back, but then he kind of limped off.
Yeah, I don't
A
know
little
what
bit of
happened there.
games. I don't know if he's back to playing, but I know McDavid's still out. Skinner's been bad.
And he's just going to get worse in playoffs. We don't know how he plays in playoffs.
And it just hasn't looked good. Nugent Hopkins hasn't been producing well. Hyman hasn't been doing really well. It's just their pickup Skinner and Jeff Skinner and Arvidsson. It's been a piss poor season.
Well, Hyman got all those, big hype because of McDavid feeding him pretty much backdoor in the power play,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone's now covering that. So now he's nothing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it's crazy. You go from what 55 last year?
50, yeah, some 50 numbers and to nothing.
I think he's at 20 finally now. Or I think
Yeah.
he's over 20, 23, 25 now.
So
But it took him how many? Yeah, he didn't. He
yeah.
couldn't score for how many games into the season? Like he
Oh
was
yeah,
pointless for how many games in?
Yeah.
Like yeah, that could be another one. I mean, granted they are in third, so it's hard to say.
I'm not saying it's a
disappointing, but, like,
disappointing season for them,
no, yeah,
but
but
it's gonna be a disappointing playoffs.
yeah, and it's kind of crazy to see the downfall of some of these teams in the back end of the season.
Yep.
And how close like we thought, like most of the whole season, you go those first three spots, they didn't change much. Like you had your Dallas and Colorado, and maybe move back and forth every once in a while, but other than that, those other teams they stayed pretty solid, same spot.
Well, actually, remember Colorado wasn't even a playoff contention for
That's
a
true.
while, and then Wild started to fall, and Colorado started to freaking kick butt, and then a trade happened. That even
Trade
kicked
deadline
even
happened.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
right.
um, but yeah,
And with the way I'm sure you're happy as Kings fan, you guys, the spot you're in, you're gonna secure home. You secure home, home advantage, and so in the way you play at home against
Been crazy.
Edmonton, it's gonna be, you're almost looking at it could possibly be a sweep.
yeah, we're one of the best. I think we're the best home record.
Yep.
Talking about
We
home.
lost like 5 games at home.
Last night we lost at home, but
yeah, 5 games at home
did
we've lost.
did you see Quinn Byfield's goal?
I did not know.
He made one crazy highlight reel in the beginning of the season, and he made one crazy one last.
I saw
night.
the beginning of the season,
Yeah, we did that clip one.
Mm.
But last night, front of the net, guy like somehow chops Quinn's backhand, loses his stick. Quinn has one hand on his stick. The puck gets shot. The puck's in the air. He drags it, pretty much tipping it behind him. One hands it, tap in goal.
Jesus.
It was sexy. So sexy. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the cue I love.
Yeah, that's what you want to see.
It was a nasty goal, and gosh, it was just beauty. Freaking a nice. Like you could see him like toe dragging it and tipping it, and then just oh yeah, it was awesome. It was a good goal.
That's nice. We'll have to look at that after.
And then yeah, Vegas. Vegas has just been quiet. Again, they're a Western team, so you don't hear too much hype with them. But
no.
Yeah, they're gonna be a good team still. That's for sure. It'll be interesting because they're not having an injured reserve guy come up and play.
Right.
So
not this year.
Yeah. Going over the Eastern Conference, or actually before we go to the Eastern, one thing with Western Conference, I don't know if it was a joke, but I saw a thing with Elliot Friedman's picture on it, and he said, "Don't be surprised." He pretty much don't be surprised, and then be like, he's pretty much 100% sure Bedard wants or is going to ask for a trade. He's pretty confident, and I don't know if that could just be someone, April Fools. I didn't even really look at it. I just saw it. And I was like, wow, crazy.
Yeah,
makes sense. Like honestly, I could see it happening.
Which is crazy that it comes out now, and I feel like it's got to be like clickbait or like rate like I don't
It
know
could be.
It's because like it looked like things were on the positive side.
Yeah,
because I mean like as in like they got Spencer Knight, the goalie, so they felt like they got a better goalie, younger goalie, somebody that can help them out for the future, and it, he was received well by the fans and by the players. He had a good first showing. Then they get rid of Seth Jones, who it looked like was, the bad guy in the locker room that no one really took all the fun out of it, I guess, in a way, because once he left, then it looked like the vibes were good. There were smiles back on the faces of some of the players, and then, and so it looked like things were on the upside. And so I wonder if like this is just, I don't know, somebody just trying to stir things up. But it could also be true because they're talking like Bedard does not look happy in the Chicago, and especially the fact that they have rescinded down this season compared to last season, and how you think you're like, oh, they're supposed to get a little bit better, and then they get a little bit worse. So the rebuild's not looking well.
Yeah. So yeah.
And the talks of Jonathan Tace wanted to come back and play too. Someone like.
That's true. You never know what can happen with that. Jesus.
Yeah. And speaking of, since we're still in the West, Landeskog too. I don't know if you've seen Houston skating, and
Yeah.
I think, was it him or was it? I can't remember if it was him or if it was somebody else I saw skate that was coming back from injury, but they were in a they were not in the non-contact jersey, so like they were doing contact. So that's good news to see Lannis. Where does he fit in? I mean,
Who cares?
With stat, I know they got that's just depth, more depth for. That's just put him on the fourth line there, run him on the fourth line. But Jesus, it's just Colorado's already stacked as it is. Oh.
They're gonna be my sleeper team, I think, this year.
I mean,
or this playoff.
I don't know if you can call them a sleeper team,
But
I
don't know. I don't know if they can pass Dallas. But
I think they could. Well, I don't know. I think they could. I really do think they could.
That's where I'm gonna get blown up. My bracket will be blown up right there.
I know.
So hopefully.
I just need to know. That's the thing of the bracket thing. It's like the East needs to finish out.
Yeah.
No idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah. So let's head over to the East, and they're finally some teams.
I think the wild cards you could probably say are
pretty locked in.
Yeah, I think you could honestly about say like.
So the teams that finally got eliminated: Pittsburgh, Philly, and Boston. Funny thing, guess what? Buffalo is still in it.
Which is wild.
Because last week Buffalo was the worst team, and now they're
streaky. They're 4 wins in a row, 7-3 in the last 10. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Dude, they're crazy.
Why all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, we just want to play now. Like, we want to ruin some people's nights.
I guess. So Boston was the first one eliminated in the East. Shocked a lot of people. They.
I mean, we could probably could have said it, but you don't want to say it against Boston because they always find a way. I mean,
they have to.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, I heard Brad Marchand pretty much say, you know, Boston will always looking out to be competitive in making the playoffs. So they're gonna have, and it's been proven that, you know, the last decade they've always been in the playoffs. This is probably the first time in I don't know how many years, but if you look at it that way, in the aspect of, okay, they traded away Brad, well, they probably got something going. They got their goaltender. They're gonna work around Pasta. You know, now they're gonna probably start picking people. Like, honestly, during free agency, why won't they make a big move?
Yeah, I think they're going to go look for a retool, like how Washington did last year.
Yeah.
And just try to get some pieces in the offseason to fill out the gaps. Because you get Pasta coming back, Swayman, and then you get McAvoy healthy.
Yeah.
Because they're hurting McAvoy healthy. Frederick just made his debut the other night. He coming back from injury.
Yep.
And I think Lindholm, another D, he's hurt. So, like, they've got a few players who are hurt, who they can come back, that'll help out a little bit better. So if they can retool in the offseason, then I think they could stay where they're at, or they can, you know, go back to what they were at.
Yeah.
You reading all that?
Sure. Yeah. Shouldn't be. So yeah, let's see. I honestly, before we started, I was pretty much gonna say, okay, well, one, Ottawa's in. I believe Ottawa's gonna be that last wild card, or the first wild card spot. But I was like, you know, the only two really teams that I can think of will be Montreal and Detroit, to really get there. But Montreal's been freaking hot. 5-game winning streak. I think they're playing tonight right now. And they're up 2-1 on Detroit, and Detroit really needs to win it. But I think it's almost locked now. If Montreal can win that and make it a 6-game winning streak, I could see Montreal being now in the playoffs.
The Panthers won against the Leafs.
Yep. So
big win.
I just don't I don't see Detroit winning any or making it after this. If they lose to Montreal, they really need to come back and get these 2 points. Like 2 points really bad. I just don't see that happening. The Rangers, I just don't see them doing it. If a team that want to be a big underdog would be Columbus, but again, they are playing. Who are they playing? They're playing Ottawa right now.
They're
I
up
think.
right now, 5-2.
Yeah. So.
But I think it's too late.
I do think it's too late.
Yeah.
Islanders been on a hot streak of 2 games, but
It's too late, I think.
I think so too. And same with Buffalo. Again, you're on a 4-game winning streak. You got to keep winning. I think you lose one, you're done.
You got to win out.
Yep. So.
And you got to have all the other teams like lose a few.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
tough.
So I definitely have. Honestly, what you see is how I'm gonna say is what you're gonna get in the Eastern Conference.
Only thing is the Atlantic. That's the only thing I would say
could change because
Yeah.
Ottawa could go up there in Florida.
Well, not even. I mean, Tampa Bay is only 2 points back of Toronto,
Yeah.
and Toronto does. The Atlantic it's because you just have Florida that just beat Toronto. I don't know if the points updated.
I don't think so.
And then I know these two teams. I think the battle and then tomorrow night the Maple Leafs play the Lightning.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy games.
And then I know there's gonna be I'm pretty sure these teams play again before the season ends.
Yeah.
There's one.
But gosh, just think if Toronto does get that number 1 spot, and then Ottawa decides, you know what, let's go up and we'll take the 3 spot.
Yeah, and what if Florida just tanks?
And Florida then gets Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would suck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if Florida just purposely tanks to face off against Toronto in the first round? Because then they'll get Kachuk back.
Well, I'd still take Florida over Tampa, or yeah, I would take Panthers over the Lightning all day. I honestly think Panthers.
I don't know, in a 7-game series,
I think Panthers
and Vasilevsky better than I like Bobrovsky.
I'm gonna say Panthers and Washington are gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I just don't know which one I want to go further. I honestly think Panthers have a great chance of making it another repeat.
Maybe. I think it's close. It's gonna be.
And
the Panthers play the Lightning again.
I just hope Washington doesn't become President's Trophy, because then that makes my decision very easy that I know they're not going to win the Stanley Cup.
I know.
So
I'd be worried anyways, regardless if they don't or not right now, the way their goaltending has been and the way they've been playing. But hopefully they'll be breaking there.
Yeah, everything's going to be
distracted.
They can just play now.
Yes.
They don't have to feed him. They can just play their game.
This is the worst stretch they've had all season, and of course it has to come right before the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll be okay. You'll be okay. Yeah. So, going back to your question though, with what we did with Washington or Western Conference, who do you think in the Eastern Conference had the most
disappointing season?
And I think we could probably agree on one.
Got 2 in mind, but yeah, the first one, it's probably pretty easy.
Yeah, who you got?
Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, New York Rangers.
Okay, that was one of mine. But the obvious one, I would hope you'd say Boston.
I mean, yeah, it
was.
But they got rid of their coach 22 games into the season while they weren't even doing bad.
I'm thinking, before we even started, we had them up top, right?
No.
Well, we had them.
I had them in the middle.
I had them in the playoffs though. I didn't have them being eliminated the first round.
No.
Or the first team in the Eastern Conference.
No.
I think that was the most. I think if you look at everything, you got rid of your captain, and you just completely tank. You got rid of your coach, thinking that was the answer, which it wasn't. Definitely wasn't, because freaking now he's in playoffs. You literally have a streak of being in the playoffs. And now you just completely at the bottom. Like, something's not right. And I think that's more sad than New York. Because New York almost did the same thing. They dished out almost a lot of people, but they're still in a playoff contention.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, it's weird because, like, I'm just not worried. Like, I shouldn't say that. Because, like, they had a disappointing season, but, like, I'm not, like, worried. Like, if I'm, like, New York, I'm kind of worried. Because like they're like winning games right now, like how close they are to making the playoffs in the wildcard spot. They're winning games. They're not even. There's like no emotions. Like they don't care.
Yeah.
Like they don't. It's like they don't even want to still play it. But like I don't know, Boston. Like they still feel like they have that. We're still like like I don't know.
Boston's not the worst now. Gosh darn it.
Why?
They just won, so they overtook Philly.
Oh yeah, or Pittsburgh and Buffalo. That's funny.
Dumb.
How does that work? Does that mean Buffalo's finally eliminated now? Because, like, how does Buffalo not eliminated? But I mean, granted, Boston's already at 79 games played, so they have
That
3 more games
that
played, so that's probably it.
that in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's probably it.
if Buffalo would lose another game, they'd be done
Yeah.
just because of their game wise.
Yeah. I don't know. I could totally get the Boston, yeah, but like that was weirdly enough that's not the first team I was looking at or I went to cuz yeah, I was thinking the Rangers or even I don't know, you can almost say Buffalo too cuz
Yeah,
with how much talent there is on that damn. When you look at the freaking roster, dude, beginning of the season on paper, you're like, dude, this
Buffalo.
is a
Yeah,
talented team. There's not very many holes. They're just young and inexperienced. But you give them like oh man, I don't know what it is about them. It's frustrating. It's got to be even more frustrating as a fan.
yeah, yep, I agree. Um,
Okay, well, instead of the negative side of it, let's go to the positive. What's been
okay,
your most positive outtake of the
hold on,
teams?
hold on. I will get to that. I'm waiting that till the end.
Oh,
Let's talk about playoffs here,
okay, yeah.
unless you're all done with it.
No,
Okay,
not far from.
yeah. So again, I think yeah, Washington's won. They're just waiting on pretty much now. Who are they gonna face
Yeah,
on
they
the
haven't even
bottom
locked
here?
in one though for the Metro.
They
Like
locked in that they're gonna lock. Well, no, they're the first. They'll
locked in the
get
playoff.
yeah. They'll be number one in the playoff seed versus Montreal, Detroit, but mostly Montreal. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Um.
Which I like that matchup. That's a good matchup. Easy. That's a winnable matchup.
Well, shoot, that could be even the Devils if because Montreal now is gonna be at 87. That's a game behind the Devils.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which is why it's funny because like when's the last time we've actually looked at for the Metro
Oh,
like the division rankings and
yeah.
if those 3 teams will get past because we could go back all the way probably to November.
Yeah. Here's a question. If you're the Devils,
Mhm.
do you want to play the playoffs? Knowing that no, like legit because like you're hurt, you got your top guys aren't there. You're probably not going to do much.
Mhm.
Like say screw it. Let's not even be in the play. Why not tank the rest of the season? And you're going to get a better draft pick pretty much, but what what's the difference? Like
Mm,
you're not
player
yeah,
experience, and then
I'm
I'm
like
sure some of that there's other contract clauses. Probably there's some incentives to making the playoffs and all that. But I think it's better that when you're this far and everything. I think it's you want to make the playoffs and you want to
yeah,
give your team
I
that boost
understand.
because it's Sheldon O'Keefe's first year as a head coach,
Yeah.
and they're literally just trying to get back into the playoffs. So regardless if they get a first round exit, I think they're just trying to get back into it, just to, say that they got back
Yeah.
into it. So I think at this point it's probably I think that it's I mean it's better to make the playoffs than it is to not make it because I mean how much realistically will you get in draft? How
Oh,
better of
I
a pick
know.
would you get at this point
I
where
know,
they're at?
but you never know those diamonds in the rough, but
Hmm.
um I don't know. I guess honestly, because of where they're at, you never know if they might not make it. And I guess I wouldn't really be surprised if they don't.
No, which it'd be crazy because that's such a big mix up with how long they've been in that spot.
Yeah. They've been one, two, or three all year.
Yeah, all year, and they've got 4 games left. Montreal's got 5. Everybody else,
Yeah.
and Montreal's getting Demidov. He just signed his entry level contract today,
Yep.
so I assume his debut. Well, obviously not tonight,
Needs
but
papers.
yeah, right. He's got to get back. He's got to get in the states first.
Talking about coming to a new team over in that league. Uh
Oh, they play the
Coo-
Senators on Friday.
your old Capitals.
Yeah, Kuznetsov terminated his contract with the SKA and the KHL,
I heard he's going to Washington.
huh?
Fourth line.
Yeah, no, we do not need him. I wonder if he's done.
40 points in 45 games.
Mhm.
I think he's coming back to the NHL.
He must. I see that he must be. Well, that's what I don't get because he was already in the NHL prior, and he
The-
terminated his contract here to go play in Russia.
Yeah, because I think he
So that's why I'm
I
like,
think he just felt like, yeah, I'm gonna be done. But
I
I
think
think
he's done.
he did so good. I think he's like, might unless yeah, I guess maybe he's so banged up. He's like, I'm just done. I
Yeah,
guess,
I don't.
but
I don't really look too much into it, but
because yeah, 45 games. That's not
ooh,
a lot.
Red Wings empty net right now, down 1-2.
Yeah, they're gonna lose.
So if they lose,
Gosh, and Red Wings
you
have
might
36 shots. Canadians 19.
said you might want to just call it if Detroit loses this, I mean, granted they'll still have 5 games left, but it's a 4-point swing almost, you could say.
Yeah.
Losing to that like that to the team you're chasing.
So, not bad. Yeah, geez, that's a big one there too. Gosh darn it, Devils just lose to the Bruins. But, anyways,
Yeah, I mean that Atlantic too, though. I thought because we still have tomorrow you have was it Tampa and Toronto playing? Tampa and Toronto are playing tomorrow, and I think it's like one of the last couple days of the season. Florida and Tampa Bay play each other.
really.
Yeah, and 94 points, 96 points, 98 points. There's your standings for the 3 spots for the Atlantic. Like how wild. We're this close to the playoffs and we still can't really decide who's going to play who. Not at least not everybody. Just can't get over it.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. A lot of close games coming up. These are where it matters for a lot of these teams now. So
yeah, that's not where it's not like it don't matter where we go in the playoffs. Don't matter what position or what where we're at for ranking wise. But like no, like this year, like it matters like a lot if to get number 1 or if you're number 2. That's a tough matchup.
yeah. But yeah, so that's all for the playoffs. We'll get into these 2 questions now. We did the most disappointing, but now let's talk about the most surprised.
Yeah, surprised. There you go, like that.
Most surprised team. We'll start in the Eastern Conference. As of right now,
Should be easy.
It's Washington.
Yeah, come on.
I think we didn't even we had them barely making the playoffs just because of what happened last year.
Even as a fan, I didn't think.
Yeah, to see them being the number 1 in the whole Eastern Conference, yeah, no one saw that coming.
Not even just the Eastern Conference, the NHL almost.
In the NHL, yes. I did not see that one coming at all. So yeah, that's the easiest one.
Yeah.
If I had to go off of that, to be honest, it's tough to say. I would say maybe Ottawa.
See, I don't. I'd say Montreal.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, that's the thing. Montreal's been hot and low, I
But
feel like Ottawa's been pretty hot, and they've been in a playoff contention for a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Montreal should be the most surprising.
That's true. That's true.
Because based on the season, like they're plagued with injuries in the beginning, and like they have the hype with getting Lane, and then he gets hurt in the preseason, and then they're not doing too hot, and then like Martin St. Louis' job was maybe in talks being on the line, but then you're like, well, he hasn't even played like a game where he's had everybody healthy.
Yeah.
And then he finally gets everybody healthy, and you give him a shot, and you see what they've done, and what they can do when they're healthy, and that's the reason why they're in the spot where they're at right now. It's they're healthy. The other one you could maybe say would be Columbus, but
they were so down there. I will say I thought Columbus was gonna be where Boston's at.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, especially like I hate to say it, but with the tragic thing that happened at the beginning of the season, you thought it's a star player, so you're like you think you lose the star player, it's hard to fill that hole. Especially the hole that was there, that's put there. That's a pretty deep hole, one that's not going to be repaired.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's to see where they still to get to the end of the season where you still are in contention of making a playoff spot. Like, it's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a lot to read when I get done here. I haven't been reading. Have you been reading any of it?
Yeah, some of it. Yeah, that was kind of easy for the Eastern Conference. Western Conference, though, you could easily say the most surprising would be the Blues because of how hot they were.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I could either say the Jets and Vegas, the 2 number 1s. Especially Vegas. I not have Vegas on the top 3 chart.
No,
I had them
we had
just barely making. Yeah, just barely making the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
but that's for us.
I know. So, but that's what I'm saying. The most surprise is. For me, it would be Vegas being they lose a lot of guys that I thought were key guys for them. Apparently, didn't make too much of difference,
Yeah. Right.
and they're still the best team in the Pacific. So it's a big surprise. And again, Jets. I would have said Jets. Same with the Jets, because I thought the Jets were going to do good, but just not this good.
Yeah.
So so pretty much, yeah, the two number ones are the biggest surprises to me. I would say, another surprise is not seeing Edmonton, super high up. Or you can even take Colorado. I don't know where I had Colorado at, but I didn't have them. I felt like where they're at. So
No. Yeah, that's probably about Vegas would be the big one. I think, yeah, for me also. And I don't know. Yeah, I think about Vegas. Cause I was thinking like maybe Anaheim, but like no, like not really. They're about where I was thinking a little bit better than where I had Anaheim. But
yeah,
I think yeah, Vegas was the big one because yeah, they traded John Marshall. That's that was their top point getter and everything last year, and so you're like, well, you're a loser. You're one guy and you don't really replace him with anything. But everyone that you already had, they got better and they improved, and that's what you want as a GM, as coach, as everything. That's the goal, is players improving over the offseason and into the next season, only getting better. Makes things a lot easier and cheaper
yeah,
when doing deals and contracts.
yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, I think we'll call it good there.
Yeah. Other
So,
than let me get my one big question that
uh,
I have that's super huge, and everybody, this is for everybody, including you and everybody watching. Um, I know, yeah, obviously, I asked this before, but I'll ask it to everybody else. Is when it comes to the NHL, what would you say is the hardest position to draft for? And that in terms of your wingers, center, defenseman, and a goaltender. What is the hardest position that you think would be as a GM to draft for to get to replace?
I think it's goaltending. I think um, after I'd probably be a center, but goaltending to me is they can have good spouts or good, you know, they can be great in college, great overseas.
Mm.
Sometimes just never transfers, and I feel like there's more like, ah man, like there's so many like goalies. I feel like they're either really really good or they're really just not. And like
Mm.
you have like a Corey Price and you have Jonathan Quick, Ryan Miller type of guys that get drafted a little bit higher. But then you see a lot of these other goalies that don't get drafted higher that are actually really really good.
Mm.
And so you know if I don't know, I think you take a chance on goalies and their development more than you do a center, um, a wing defense and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I agree because I mean, yeah, I mentioned briefly earlier how goalies when they get drafted is how often is it that they play the year that they're drafted, or that they play in the next year that they're drafted. Like goaltenders, usually when they're drafted, they don't usually touch the NHL ice for 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get up there to make it. I mean, and it also it depends on how bad the team is also playing above you. Like maybe you get it because they're playing so bad, you just get a shot. Like, oh, screw it, we'll just give this guy a chance.
Yeah.
Throw him up there into the fire. But yeah, no, I would say I agree too. Goaltending is I would say the hardest position to draft for. I think it's just because of the time, the amount of time it takes to develop somebody. So you got to think about like, okay, well, I get him. Well, he's probably not going to touch the ice for 3 years, 3
Yeah.
years already.
They're gonna
And
have to truly go through the system.
yeah, and so like that's usually when you're drafting, like you're wanting to change the team now. Compare
Yeah.
like with the other sports. So every player is their draft, their most time they're getting played right away.
Yeah.
And when it comes to forwards, and defensemen, they're getting play time like usually right away.
Yeah.
And
There's some guys that that don't even get drafted
yeah,
and they make a starting roster. Like I think of Alex Iafallo,
hmm
comes in undrafted, gets invited from the Kings, and he makes like second or first line with Kopitar
yeah,
at his first year. So
yeah, no, instead of Curry, he's with
now
the
he's with
Jets
the
now.
Jets. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so best team in the league.
Yeah. Exactly. So anything can happen when it comes to that. But yeah,
Mhm.
goaltending is definitely, I think, hard.
Yeah, yeah, because
sure.
then centerman would be second. Because then centerman has, I would say, the second most amount responsibilities on the ice. I'd
Yeah.
say
You
because
gotta be a role player.
yeah, you have everything. You're the captain almost because you're in control of the face-offs where the puck goes, and then you're the one usually who's leading it into the zone, and then yeah, you're the one who's kind of controlling everything else. So like
Yep.
yeah,
So
I think the easiest. I think maybe defenseman's easier to draft for than a winger. Nah, I think winger's easiest because there's so many.
there's so
It's hard to
many,
get. It's hard
but
to find such a shutdown defenseman like a Norris Trophy
yeah,
esque type defenseman.
yeah, yeah.
Because I mean, D's a big thing. Because like yeah, like
Like I think when you have a good D, you have a good D,
yeah.
and
Because there's a
but
lot of good D's, but like there's a very like select, a very few amount of great D playing right
yeah,
now, where like you can absolutely trust them back there.
yeah,
There's no worries.
yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one, but okay, guys. That's all we got. Let us know what you guys think about that. Also, again, don't forget we're doing a bracket challenge, so sign up. Um, and the winner will get a nice little prize again, and then also subscribe here on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. We will see you guys all next week, hopefully with a guest. So